y'all. So we are in pants today. So excited we're in pants. Well, I mean, I'm not, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm excited for the cold weather. Like, I walked my little butt outside, got everything in the car or in the truck or whatever, and I was like, it's cold. So I went inside and put some pants on, and I'm like, we're gonna do fall fishing video. So I'm going to be filming a top fall baits or what I think is going to work for the fall this year. It's just going to be kind of like a guesstimate, and then when we move into winter, I'm going to do a video, like a recap video on what actually worked. So the stuff I'm tying on today may not work at all, but we'll see. It's part of fishing. You're learning and exploring new things. So I'll see y'all in just a second. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing a kind of like a predetermined fall baits. So it's going to be like, I'm going to pick out some baits that I think are going to work this fall, and if they do work, great. If not, we're going to recap before winter, and I'm going to tell y'all some things that I learned over this fall and some things that surprised me. So if we have any surprises. So I'm going to just start off with some baits that I think are going to kill it this fall. I'm going to start off with some hard baits. So I personally have had a lot of luck with a spinnerbait in the fall. One of my favorite spinnerbaits is the Booyah 4th ounce. This is the smaller spinnerbait, so it's the 4th ounce. I mainly fish ponds. If you fish a lake, I would go with a 1/2 ounce or a 3/8 ounce, something like that. But I use the 1/4 ounce for the ponds. Next up, I would say some sort of square bill. So, the water's still kind of hot, coming right out of summer. We're in Georgia. I mean, this applies to me. This applies for Georgia, exactly where I'm located. So, I would throw a square bill. I would throw some sort of a shad or some sort of natural profile. But shad's natural, but you understand what I mean. And I think it would apply the same way to a lake. I've never actually broken down a lake before and fished it, but I know I've caught a couple off a bluegill square bill in the fall in the lake. So we're just gonna see if it works. Next up, I would throw some sort of jerk bait. Now, jerk baits work in the dead of heat and in the dead of winter. I think when we're coming off the summer to fall transition, I really think that this jerk bait right here is gonna knock them dead. I normally throw a shad pattern or some sort of like gold. So it's either gonna be silvers, blues, or golds for me. So I picked this. I'm gonna go fishing later on with these baits. This is called a mossback shiner. So it mimics a bluegill, but it could also mimic a different type of shad. So there's another one that you can use. I think that's about it for the hard baits. Minus coming right into fall, you know, obviously your top waters, like your walking baits, your frogs, you could throw anything like that. But I've just been catching so many fish on the buds bait lately, I want to put it down. I want to catch something on something different. So we're not even going to add that to the video. So I would like to add in the video that plastics are going to be hitting around this time of year. A couple of plastics that I like to use are a Wacky Rig Senko. Also, while we're talking about Senkos, these little Owner, I can't remember what they're called, but it's a 3/32 ounce weight. These are made specifically for the Ari Yamamoto Senko, and it gives you like a whole different action. And I really like to use that. I'm actually going to tie that on in just a second. Next up, for like a stick bait type worm, I like to put this on a Ned rig. So these are the fat Zoom Finesse worms. They're just a little bit beefier. These fish are going to be trying to eat and feed up for the winter before it gets really cold and they kind of stop actively looking for food. Next up, we have some kind of reaction baits, I guess that you would call them. So I like creature baits and crawls a lot for the fall. So I picked out baby brush hog and then some sort of crawl or bug. I picked out the biffle bug for this. I'm going to use it today. So anything like that, you got, I mean, they have a lot of appendages. They're going to move a lot of water and going to get bit. Also, with kind of moving, I like to throw the speed worm. So it just creates a lot of commotion in the water. These bass are actively feeding in the fall, trying to stock up for winter. So you want something that's going to be like in their face, ready for them to bite. This is something that I'm just going to try this year. This is going to be one of them prediction type things. I've never thrown a fluke, but I feel like a fluke would work good this time of year also. Because, I mean, it mimics baitfish. So, and then lastly, what is that? Lastly, we're going to go with a drop shot. Aside from the Ned rig, I like to use it for more either extremely hot or really, really cold. Drop shot, I catch fish all year round. So I picked out 2 different styles of worm. One being a, like a skinny, straight worm. This is I just bought these. This is the California Roll. Here, Yamamoto's got a little cut tail on the end of it. Something like a long, skinny worm, like a robo worm would work good. And then you also have your bait fish imitators that look like bait fish. So this is the Zoom. The original fluke, these are not the fat flukes like I just showed you. These are skinnier and they will work great on a drop shot. So with all of this being said, don't let anybody tell you what you have to throw for the fall. As anglers, we need to all start compiling our information together. So I'm not going to be like, oh, Alex Red just did his video on his top fall baits. I'm not going to go and be like, oh, Alex said to use this and this and this, and then come back and use the same exact thing in my video. I'm going to actually change it up. I have not seen this on YouTube yet, so if I'm wrong, correct me down below. But I'm going to start making predictions, and we're going to learn instead of just trying to catch fish on what everybody else says they're catching fish on. We're going to learn for ourselves here. So